to the Aloha EQ or Emotional Intelligence podcast. This is Ruth Gungaika. Today we have a special guest. His name is Kevin Eaton. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am from North Carolina. I say from very loosely because we moved here only a year ago. I come from Florida through just outside of Atlanta, and now we are in North Carolina. And we moved here a year ago or so to kind of change how life happens because we were very much kind of pulled along by the culture in the suburb of Atlanta we lived in. And we wanted to have some more intentional time to slow down life and live life at a pace that we desired rather than the default. I have 4 kids, 11, 9, and 7. Birthdays are around this season. And then we have a baby who's 7 months old right now. Yeah. 3 girls and a boy.
Wonderful. Just opposite of me. I have 3 boys and 1 girl.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And what do you do for a living, Kevin?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, I was in a role for a large Christian nonprofit. I did a variety of roles, working on different teams, leading teams, working with technology. And about a year ago, felt a nudge to kind of live life on my own terms, if you may. And so I stepped out to help people make freedom in their time and in their work, specifically to find that life-work integration, because it's so easy, especially in the kind of the corporate mentality that I'm coming from, to just get pulled along with, hey, 9 to 5, this is how we do things. But then, when your kids start getting older and they want more of your time, and if you own a home, your house needs more of your time, and you only have so many hours in a day. So right now, I help people take their next right step to make freedom rather than build burnout, whether it's in life or work. And so I focus on those people who have maybe stepped out of the corporate world, or they've started doing business on their own, and they're in that gap between what I'll call the technician, and they're doing the work, and then there's a lot more work and more work and more work. And you get to this place where, like, wow, I work for myself, but I traded a 40-hour a week job for someone else to work 80 hours a week for myself. That's still draining. So helping answer those questions of how do I take what's in my head and put it in the hands of others so we can all move forward together.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's very important. And I think that's a great mission that you have to help others utilize their time better and make more time for their family is very important.
Yeah, the phrase that keeps me going is helping people have more for what matters most.
That's great. That's wonderful. Because I've lived in the South Pacific for 36 years. I lived there in Tonga for 13 years, in American Samoa for 2 years, and then Hawaii for 21 years. Pacific Islanders don't consider time as maybe the mainland USA. When I went there, especially in Tonga, time revolves around their farms. They get up in the morning early before the sun gets up because it's too hot to work in the middle of the day. They'll work in the evenings, so they work in their bush. They're not so much corporate. How do you teach them time management when they come to America and start working in the corporate world? Because it's a whole different mindset for them after they've come from the bush, is what we call it.
Yeah, I can imagine there is a learning curve for sure. And it would go along with other cultural differences. Maybe would a warm culture be a good description?
Yeah.
So a more warm culture, they actually, in some ways, they might value time better than Western thinking or mainland thinking. because they see time maybe more as connection and energy, whereas on mainland or corporate, oftentimes it can be seen as dollars and profit and potential. So I wouldn't say either are right or wrong. I think there's need for both at different times. So one of the biggest changes, maybe mindset shifts, is output. And this is one of the changes that I stepped away from corporate, specifically this idea of hey, just give me your time and I'll give you some money for your time. We as human beings are worth more money than we can possibly imagine. Which is why I stepped outside of this corporate concept to live life on my own terms and create value. Well, in the corporate world, there's a dollar amount on your head, in a sense, which is just unfortunate. The biggest shift that I would see is how can I bring my warmth into a cold room?
Mm-hmm.
And I would almost encourage seeing it as they see getting up early to go to work to avoid the heat of the day, showing up at the time. And if it's maybe adjusting your mindset to say, okay, every meeting is a half an hour early.
All right.
So that I can just have the freedom and the comfort and to be me rather than the rigidity of, and then also recognize what other people might believe about time.
Mm-hmm.
It is eye-opening, and you don't know what you don't know until you begin to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard. So I would encourage maybe adjusting your calendar to give some cushion,
mm-hmm.
and choosing to say no if possible. Not everybody has the freedom to do that.
Right.
If there's overlap and add margin in your day.
Can you share an example where understanding emotional drivers helped improve a marketing campaign or a masterclass? Because I know you're involved in masterclasses. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could touch on that.
Yeah. So this idea of emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's hard for me because I'm very logical. You can ask my wife, where she carries the emotional labor and weight in the family. I'm trying. Don't get me wrong. So this idea of emotional intelligence, we need to be able to see from someone else's perspective. And
Right.
oftentimes that can be a challenge because we've not personally experienced that. So the logical side of me says, okay, go talk to people and ask them, how do they feel?
Mm.
You can always do that with your audience, or it can be challenging, especially when it's either a one-way video or it's on social media. So asking a lot of questions is one way. And so from a marketing standpoint, that's can be helpful to kind of get a broad spectrum. For marketing specifically, is ask one question from 100 people. Because then you can see, so if you think about who your audience is, you ask the same question to a lot of then you can kind of see the similarities, maybe there's some similar fears or false beliefs that come out. And it gives you a little more understanding of how to speak to those emotional needs so that you can then answer those questions before people even ask them.
How do personal values and cultural heritage shape your entrepreneurial approach and teaching style in masterclasses?
I know my culture, and so my culture definitely shapes it, especially coming from a Christian mindset and nonprofit mindset and a corporate. So it definitely shapes. And as I'll talk to my wife, sometimes I'll notice oh, not everybody thinks this way. Okay. So recognizing that I am limited in what I understand and how I communicate empowers me to ask questions and be curious. That's been one of the biggest things as I think about whether it's a masterclass or it's just a talk that I'm leading. What is the value I can bring to this people group? I have to kind of answer some questions without knowing for sure because I don't always know who might show up.
Right.
But I also get to pull from my own experience because people can connect with emotion. So as an example, I left my corporate job because the pull of my family and the pull of my career seemed at odds. I decided to take a step back and say, okay, what if I could have more time and still make the same amount of money? How can I do that? And so really seeing what matters most in my life and then asking questions rather than speaking in statements has been very helpful to what might they think? How might they feel? What was my emotional experience and how can I bring them into my story to then maybe help them connect with me and come along with my emotional journey to then be logical. My family is definitely one of my biggest reasons for seeking into this space because I want to help make freedom. And freedom is beyond just the time you work. Freedom is energy. Freedom is excitement and drive and motivation.
I just thought of something. So I worked in a hospital laboratory for some years. I worked with very intelligent doctors, pathologists. I worked in a medical secretary pool. We typed up the pathology reports after they did the biopsy and they'd bring it. These two doctors were always at odds. Even though they were so intelligent, they would come in and they would always disagree on the diagnosis. As far as I'm concerned, they didn't have any emotional intelligence. And that's what my podcast is about. I'm just wondering, in the corporate world, because you were there, is that part of the reason why you wanted to get out? Because there are bosses, sometimes bosses or people that are rude. I had another boss in another office who would put me down all the time. It was very demeaning and, emotional intelligence is something that I think is very important in offices, in every asset of life. And did you ever have an experience like that?
Yeah, I did. Definitely thinking back to my early kind of entry level role that I had with my company. So I worked on what we'll call a field team. And I remember our area required us to go to this conference. And it was like 8 hours away. So we drove, family, we had 2 kids at the time. And then one of the things that I liked about my company is we would get comp time, like we could take days off. But my team leader at the time did not value comp time. And so I remember coming, like we got home like 5 o'clock. We're hungry, we're tired. We had to like get our house reset, get our kids to bed. And there's supposed to be this like event that night for our work. And I'm like, yeah, I just can't make it. Sorry. And then the next day, the conversation with him was very hard. Just a lack of care and understanding, even though he has kids, like she's just like, and that definitely kind of burned me. So I eventually left that team and I was still with a different team. And the other teams that I had were actually a little more corporate feeling, like the 9-to-5 concept. And I'll be honest, there were times that I felt like they leaned heavily on the emotional side. I was like, oh, this is hard for me. Or, yeah, I didn't notice that. And so I had some opportunities for growth of my own emotional intelligence.
If you're concerned, it's a very important thing in any office, right? What tools or practices do you recommend for marketers to stay emotionally grounded while managing the pressures of scaling online businesses?
Well, I would say one of the biggest emotional intelligence things that we can do as people in general is to recognize what we believe and why we believe it.
Mhm.
One of the best ways that I've heard it put is, emotions, from my understanding, again, I'm not an expert at emotions, is our emotions are kind of the automatic response that we have to something.
Mhm.
And so we often don't realize why we start doing something or feeling something even in our bodies. It just
Mhm.
happens. It's like the troops have been sent out.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't get to choose which troops go. It just kind of happens. That's our automatic.
That's when you try to recognize
Yeah.
what emotion is that, right?
Yeah. So and that's a very logical response. Like, oh, what am I feeling? What is this emotion?
Right. And then you have
And
to
so
figure out, how do I handle that?
exactly.
Yeah.
But then your brain, I believe your brain can kind of go back and forth on emotions and logic.
Right.
And for some, it can be challenging.
Yes.
And so, in the sense of like marketing and the pressures, the big thing that I would recommend is kind of recognizing our own beliefs
Mhm.
about what makes us feel overwhelmed. Why do I feel pressure? And
Mhm.
because we can't really affect outside inputs, we can affect our inside.
Right.
So why do I feel overwhelmed? What is this? Oh, wow. I'm feeling that my boss is expecting this thing of me. Huh. Well, can I ask a question about that? And
Mhm.
then step into curiosity. And that's one of my big things. I love to ask questions.
Yeah.
And so if I can be curious of what other people think, then maybe the things that I'm telling myself aren't real. There's this idea of like truth. So like find the truth. Okay, I'm believing this thing. Oh, what is my boss actually saying? What is my
Mhm.
peer? What is my customer actually
So you need
thinking? Okay,
clarification, right?
yeah, curiosity,
Clarification.
clarification. Um, and so, in order to seek truth, maybe we have to turn a little bit to go around these roadblocks of emotional assumptions, or maybe assumptions that lead to emotions, so that we can get to the real truth.
Mhm.
I read a book a while ago, and men and women actually handle this very differently. If you believe
That's
it,
true.
yeah.
I think
Um,
so. I think you're right.
and it was written by a woman, actually my aunt. It's called Gender Goggles, and
Huh?
she talked about the corporate dynamics of gender differences um, from a woman who was a high up in an engineering world.
Oh,
And
wow.
so amazing insights. And one of the things was men are more likely to ask for an extension on a project than women aren't.
Hmm.
Whereas if a man received an assignment job, hey, fill out this report, and it's like Thursday or Friday, and they're like, oh, it's going to take a few hours. I can't get it to you until Monday or Tuesday. Is that okay? Whereas a woman, oftentimes, this is not exclusive, wouldn't ask that question. They would just receive and say, okay, I have to do this, but rather
Mhm.
than initiating a conversation and seek clarity.
They'd stay up all night to do it, right?
Yes, they would. They would.
I have never spoken about OfferLab,
Okay.
and I know that you're enthusiastic about it. And
And
so I would love for you to tell us what OfferLab is and why that they should be interested in it.
when I first heard of OfferLab, I knew of the founder from some books that I've read and podcasts and other mentors that I've followed. His name is Russell Brunson,
Mhm.
and he started a movement years ago, a decade ago, that has helped create freedom for thousands of people, financial
Right.
freedom, time freedom. And that really excited me that he was doing this new thing. And recently, I had this master class that I put out, and I went through this what somebody might call an affiliate or a joint venture partnership. It's easier to reach a group of people than one person at a time, because
Mhm.
if you can reach the group leader, then you can reach the group. So okay, so if I could send some messages to people who had an audience that my content could bless and benefit, we could partner together and profit together. So that's kind of
Mhm.
opening my eyes to this affiliate marketing or joint venture partnership. Well, that
Mhm.
didn't work out for me. It was hard. There were a couple of people that responded. So I had this excitement about, like, I knew the founder of the founder, and this like, is there an easier way? So enter OfferLab. For as a creator of content, creator of value, if you may, I want to connect with people and bless their audience with my content and vice versa. So as I look at OfferLab is a place for creators and connectors. So a creator, someone who has a paid for course, a coaching program, a PDF, a guide, like you fill in the blank. If you have something, especially as I think of it as an on-demand product that is easy to deliver or automatically delivered, OfferLab is an amazing place because you can put it in the hands of connectors, people looking for opportunities, ways to bless their audience. Now, a connector could be someone that is a creator. So like I myself, I might want to connect with someone who has like a high-end coaching program. But as a connector, I might just be looking for a way to bless my audience. I might have people on my email list, or I might have friends, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. They're talking about something. I'm like, oh, interesting. Could I help them? Could I bless them? What if I connected them with this product that I found on OfferLab? How could I be a blessing to someone else? And so as I think about OfferLab, I ask myself, how can I bless other people? And what are the products, the offers that are available for me to bless other people with? So for someone considering OfferLab, I would just ask the question, what is out there that we could help people win together? And so whether you have a product or an offer, a course, a package, or you're just like, I'm on Facebook and people are always talking about like they don't have enough time, or, man, what is this AI thing and how can I use it? Go look on OfferLab, because there's likely a way that you can use somebody else's really amazing product, course, or service and sell that or offer that to people in your network and bless them with the freedom that can come from that.
Do you think that anybody can do that?
Oh man, can anybody do it? Well, I mean, if you are willing to watch a couple videos and you have people you care about, I think anybody can do it. It's very straightforward. The way that they have it set up, it removes the red tape of finding these products, and you can even try it yourself. Like, it's free to use OfferLab, and then there's a handful of courses and guides. I'm like, ooh, I might buy this for myself. Like, I want to learn this. Oh, cool. Now I've learned it, and I can go share it with other people. Well, you can actually, the easiest way to do that is offerlab.simplifywork.io. So basically on that site, you go to my landing page, and if you want to join through my bonuses, you can. My free your time, free your life masterclass is included in one of my bonuses. Or you can just go directly to OfferLab from there if you don't want to give me your email address. No worries.
So now we have a baby with us on our podcast. Everybody loves babies. What's his name?
Baby Wesley. He is our fourth kiddo and about 7 months right now.
So cute. Okay. Well, can you just tell us, to finish, where have you been in the South Pacific and what was your experience there?
Yeah, I have been to Maui. My wife and I, we had a desire to go experience the world, and that's what we chose. It was beautiful. I think if we had gone more in the spring, it might have been a little bit prettier. It was pretty, but yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. So you met a lot of Polynesians, and what was your general impression?
Yeah, people were very kind, open to connection, but there were also some that were like, "Hey, this is our island," and they had a different level of identity. Yeah, one of my favorite things was we downloaded a road guide, and we drove around, and it shared so much of the context, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so sad, and it was really, really encouraging.
Thank you so much for being on our podcast. I think
thanks for having me.
Everyone will learn from what you've shared, And
I hope so.
I just want to thank you and best wishes in your master classes and your efforts to make more time and make it more valuable for everyone.
Yeah,
And so
I
thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much, Kevin.
Thank you, Bruce.
Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.